reportedly all but eliminated, and so now only 3 teams with a real chance: Boston, Toronto, and Miami. Broussard, I ask you, which is the best landing spot for Kevin Durant?
Well, from a basketball standpoint, purely, yeah, it'd be great for Kevin Durant if he ended up in Boston. Let's say that the deal could be Jaylen Brown, Marcus Smart, like Nick said, Sam Hauser or somebody at the end of the bench, and 3 first-round picks. And Durant goes to Boston with Robert Williams and Jason Tatum and Grant Williams. That great system and culture that they have there, Ime Udoka, obviously a very good coach. That would be a great basketball situation for Kevin Durant, and I think it'd give him a great chance to win the championship. But here's the problem. It's the same thing he did with Golden State. You would be going to the team that first beat you in the playoffs and then got to the finals and lost. All right? And so overall, it wouldn't be a great look. So the best look for Kevin Durant, can we throw out Toronto? They're not giving up Scotty Barnes. Nets aren't interested. Throw out Miami. I don't see how in the world they get this deal done, especially since Bam can't be traded to the Nets as long as Ben Simmons is on the roster. So now we're looking, Nick, at the team I've been telling you Kevin Durant's going to start the season with.
Oh, gosh.
Brooklyn. All right?
It's
Brooklyn.
like
Brooklyn on paper, and I get it. They're wacky up there. But Kyrie's going to be on his best behavior. Believe you me. Ben Simmons,
Why?
if Ben Simmons has any competitive fire whatsoever, if he has any pride at all in his basketball game, he will come out and play well. And then you got Kevin Durant.
So
all right, so his best scenario, Nick, is to stay put and see how it plays out in Brooklyn just for 1 year. Because Brooklyn's the only place he can lead a team to a championship, or even if he just leads them to the finals. People will start to say, you know what?
Oh, no,
KD showed us something. KD did go ahead and lead his own team deep. That's the only way. Because if he goes to Boston and wins, sure, it's another title. But people will say, God, the same thing he did with Golden State. So
No,
I think
it
the
is
best
not
place,
the
Nick,
same
for him,
thing.
and I think where it's really, they got to the finals. They beat you in the playoffs. Okay, not as good as Golden State was, but still a very
hadn't
good team.
just won a title, didn't have a 2-time league MVP. Like, what are you talking? It is not the exact same thing. The Warriors,
just
when
because
he
you
went
won him
there,
out of
had already-
Brooklyn,
No.
don't poo-poo my
Listen,
take just because you won him out of Brooklyn.
Ticket holder of the Nets. I'm not the one that wants him out of Brooklyn. You know who wants him out of Brooklyn? Him. Him wants him out of Brooklyn. Kevin Durant.
KD.
And you've got to get over it, man. This is sad.
Why?
Brew, it's one thing. It's one thing for you to hold on hope, which is, I will admit, it looks like it's possible. I don't think it's probable, but it's possible that he stays. It is another thing entirely for you to step on the Brooklyn Nets rake for the 3rd consecutive year that could be a contender. Brew. Let me ask you this.
They won't be.
Okay?
Hold on. They
lost.
won't be a contender. Okay, go ahead and ask me.
No, they won't be a contender. They were the 7th seed and won 0 playoff games. Here is the offseason additions. They are adding Ben Simmons. They are adding Royce O'Neal. They are losing Bruce Brown. So I would ask you, let's call Royce O'Neal and Bruce Brown T.J. Warren, and they lose Andre Drummond. Okay, so let's say the role players that they lost and that they added are about a wash, and then now let's ask this question. Lose Dragic. Let's ask this question. Is Ben Simmons, how many playoff wins is Ben Simmons worth? He's the only real addition that's being added to the team. Is he worth 3 playoff wins? What do you mean, no, he's not?
Kyrie's an addition. Kyrie is an addition. If there's not another vaccination mandate, Kyrie Irving playing every game essentially, is an upgrade. Is it not?
Hold on.
He was not available last year.
Wait a moment. Hold on. First of all, Kyrie Irving was available for the playoffs, and they won 0 games. Second of all, the idea that because there's no vaccination mandate, what Kyrie doesn't, it's not just a vaccination mandate that has prevented Kyrie from being available. Kyrie needs a different type of vaccination that will allow him to play more than 60 games. Unfortunately, that one is yet to exist. If it did exist, I'm not sure if Kyrie would take it anyway, but it doesn't exist. You are, again, wilds. I can't believe that we are once again going to talk about, you know who's going to be great next year? The Brooklyn Nets. It's the same team, plus Ben Simmons.
Wild.
They won the same amount of playoff games as the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Let me ask you a question, Brew.
Let me say one
Here's the
thing. Can I say one thing?
Okay.
Can I say one thing before you go wild?
Go for it.
They haven't given it a chance. They played 44 games together, Nick, Kyrie and Durant. 44.
Yeah.
I'm not picking them to win the East. I'm just saying, you're saying they won't even be a contender? That's madness. That's
they
lunacy.
haven't been ever.
Brew. Warriors
Okay, go ahead,
win the championship. Obviously, great culture. All of those guys ride for each other. Andrew Wiggins comes in, takes his game to a new level because of the team chemistry and camaraderie. The last block, you talked about KD going to Boston, that team culture that Ime has built, and Tatum, and it kind of works. Now you've got the Nets, where the most recent report, outside of this, all the trade talk, KD wants out, Kyrie maybe wants back in now. Goran Dragic said something that was a low-key indictment, where he's like, everybody was about themselves. And you got Ben Simmons.
But it'll change.
So how do you
Wild.
square the
It'll
circle?
be new now. It'll change.
Of the chemistry that you like to applaud for the Heat and the Celtics and the Warriors, and the chemistry dysfunction in Brooklyn?
I'll square it, and then Brew, you answer it, because I think I can help you. Here's how Brew squares the circle. It is always different next year for the Nets. They're the next year Nets, and we are now in next year. That was last year or this year. Next year, it'll be different, Brew.
No.
Tell me. Okay, you tell me.
I thought you
Steve
might. I
Nash
thought
is
you
leading.
might get the answer. The difference is they have far more talent than Miami and Boston. Now that alone won't do it, but Miami and Boston have to do this, and they should because they have talent. But right now, Sean Marks is in the process of changing the culture in Brooklyn. All right, a lot of the coaches from Steve Nash's, regime are kind of getting out of there. They're trying to get the coaching staff together. They obviously are, letting the players know what time it is. We're going to do things differently. We're going back to the way it was. And if, again, Kyrie, you can say what you want about Kyrie, Nick. He is not stupid. He realizes that if he wants the bag, and I think he was shocked with all the shenanigans he pulled, I still think he was shocked that when he sat down with the Nets, he couldn't get the long-term extension. So he understands now, and that only one team, a desperate Lakers squad, wanted him. So he understands he needs